give out two books that if a person is studying the occult,
okay,
these are must-have books. Okay, I've said this on my channel before.
And if you do gather knowledge and you get the wisdom and you understand application, you should never be worried about income.
No, deja vu is a part of the program, the human construct, to let you know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be in life.
Quickly, just kind of let you know, if you have not gotten your access to the Secrets TV, there are people who have done that. We have already chatting among ourselves in the inside there. So that's the great place that we're going to have some conversations and things that we cannot talk about here. And as you know, I've been uploading and I did 2 more drops today, and I'll show you those really quick and then we'll get the show started. But every week I'm going to be dropping more and more videos in there for you, things that you're not going to find, or they're just rare and they've been out years ago before a lot of your time, but it speaks of the truth and things that we're dealing with today. So again, you can get access through Patreon, and you will support the show, but the direct website there is thesecrets.tv. It'll forward to Patreon/Truth versus Authority. So definitely check that out when you get an opportunity to do that. Couple of the quick uploads that I did add today. One in particular had something I thought was
want to spend most of the time on.
Probably best that I not go into the details of the conversation.
The president and vice president of the United States, don't you think they should be able to stand up and speak their own words?
They should go under oath.
They should be, yeah.
In public.
This is a quick clip that you will find on 9/11. And this was in our great archives of information that I was telling a lot of you about, that's in here, that a few of you who are going to be doing your podcasts and stuff reached out to me and have access to. This was a very interesting video. So you want to go check it out. Even me, I was alive and well and going through actually my divorce through 9/11. But anyway, to see some of the stuff here, how they, do the mathematics on and Building 7, which was a third building. A lot of people didn't know that came down, had nothing to do with a plane, but it came down, blocks and blocks away. So that just let you know there was some other stuff there. I put another Jordan Maxwell in there.
World, we see the sun, and it has one eye, the eye of God, the sun.
In this particular video, he really goes down to ancient stuff. It's about a couple of hours. So already we got over 9 to 10 hours of his stuff in there. So you can get in there and really learn some stuff. Let you know that the shirts are now going to be in multicolors. It'll be updated. So when you get your shirt with your protection symbols on the sleeve, it'll have, the protection symbols. But anyway, that's one of the colors there real quickly. And then Brother Yosef is in the studio, so we'll get started. All this is rebellion tone. So just let you know, it's with the protection that we talked about, for the ladies, of course, or anyone who want to wear pink, is there with the prominent stuff on the sleeve there as well. This particular hat will be up now. This is going out to an individual who actually reached out to me personally. He says, man, I got to have this stuff. And I took it all down because I was wearing, but anyway, this is a shirt that he's getting. And then of course it's got the protection on both. So with that being said, that website will be up Monday. We'll do some specials Monday. If you hear, do that. But I just want to kind of give you a warning there. Let's get Brother Yosef in here. Hey, what's going on, my brother?
Well, how you doing? How you doing, brother? Glad to be here.
Hey, man, I'm glad to have you here and everything. I just wanted to kind of throw some stuff out there to let people know that we are doing some great stuff here in pretty much. And once again, I appreciate you. You and I talk throughout the week, and just to have it here. And so some of the people kind of know some of the stuff we talk about. They can't know everything, but other than that, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, man. It was a busy week, but it was a good busy, and everything as well. I can't complain.
Okay. Well, I mean, if we do, who cares besides us, right?
Exactly.
That's one. You know, real quickly, one of the things I was learning today is the power the true power of money. And you and I talk about this all the time as far as, you know, magic, and we'll get into this maybe later, you know, but right now, you know, I'm gonna just talk about this for 2 minutes and then we'll open up for Q&A right off the bat. But, you know, I was studying in this book that I'll share with some people, and the true power of money is knowledge, wisdom, and application. And when I was reading that, you know, first I thought it was some God preacher stuff. And I was like, do I really want to keep reading? And I kept reading. It was drawing me in more and more and more. And then it hit me. I knew exactly, because this is what we do. In other words, we get the knowledge, and a lot of people have knowledge, but they don't ask for the wisdom from the creator so that they can know what to do with the knowledge or how to then later apply it. And if you do gather knowledge and you get the wisdom and you understand application, you should never be worried about income, because all of that power and of course, word magic, the power of all that will produce. So when you look at Brother Yosef here, not only he has knowledge, he spent years, you know, gathering knowledge, but just because he had it don't mean he knew exactly what it was about, what to do, until his wisdom set in.
Mhm.
And once his wisdom set in, he was able to look at this knowledge from a whole different perspective and then apply it by being a teacher to many. And therefore, it allowed him to build his tribe, take care of his family, and do so much for other people because he's helping humanity. Because I once sat down with a guy in this mysterious place, and he says, Roderick, how are you doing financially? I said, well, I'm still growing. He said, your finances today is directly proportionate on your give back to humanity. And I was like, what? He says, so if you think about Mark Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos, the reason they're the most richest person on the planet, they created something for humanity that everybody is using. They can't help but be wealthy. You can't stop them. And it's just growing the more things they create. So for those of you who are listening, if you got questions about that from him tonight, make sure you put it in the chat. But this is our season, and our season, as we think about magic, we think about symbols, symbolism, and everything. It is time for you to incorporate the sacred geometry of things. We're going to be going through that all year to put into the branding of your business. Or, you know, fair enough. What about that? Any comment?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, and I want to go back real quick to talk about money. I know you brought up money, and you know, it's important, I would say, that people really understand legal terminology when it comes to money and life in general. Because like Jordan Maxwell talked about, and he's the first person I ever heard say this. He said, you know, money flows on a currency.
Yep.
Current, you know what I mean? So money has an electric force to it, and it's still there. But to kind of stop that force, what they did was they took away the silver notes. You know what I mean, that we used to have. That silver gave money, gave you real power in your hand. I still collect those, by the way. I still recommend people collecting those. Yeah. You know, when they took away the silver out of the money, they took away the current to a certain extent. They want to move the current, you know what I mean? But money still has a current, family. And it's important that we understand these things about money. Get some real deep understanding, not just from a business perspective, but also get some deep occult understanding of money and finances and how it plays out. I talk a lot about living private and being on a private side and stuff like that. These things are very important, family, as we move forward in the world we're going into, because Trump is already living this stuff. You know, if y'all don't know, he has private trust, and you know, he has. I remember Roseanne, if I'm not mistaken, allegedly she sued Donald Trump back in the day, and you know, she said something bad about him, and he sued her or something like that. And when she tried to sue him back, she couldn't sue him because Donald Trump is a business. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a name; it's a corporation. And not just a corporation, it's a trust. It's a family trust. So it's something to think about, family. Everybody needs to understand these things. I'm a big silver collector myself. I recommend people collecting silver and really understanding what money is, silver and gold.
You know what? Real quickly, then, you just hit on that. I had my experience with trust, and we're going to do a show Monday on courts, the true occult knowledge of the word courts. People think of court systems, but don't really know that it's a power of not just power, but global control. But then they blinded us by basketball court, tennis court, and they're still, but the same principles is the same if you think about it. So we're going to do a show on that. But back to trust, and that'll be later on down the road. Maybe you and I can collab on that one. But the trust, when you start going back to us, birth and currency, the water, and people being what they call dead at sea, all of these things, and how the government could take your stuff once you're gone because you got that word probate and all this stuff. But the reason they form a living trust, you never die.
Yep.
They can't touch it. Now, how do I know this firsthand? Well, I rented I did an owner finance to 120 acres. This is the first time I was trying to open up my goat farm. I was going to be a meat goat. I had a convertible Mercedes, and I would have hay bales in the back of that bad boy. I call myself retired. I was in my 40s. And somehow some stuff went wrong, and I had to sue the guy for my money. And the whole deal was in a trust. And my attorney was like, dude, it was going to take you forever to pierce this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? So that was my first indication. So when he came over one day and I told him I was a pretty smart dude and this trust thing, he had so much respect that I said, can you teach me that? So he taught me that. I'm going to give y'all a real life experience because it's over and I can cure if the she-wolf is listening. So I started buying property and I started putting every property in a trust. So no matter what the address, so I will remember it'll be the 513 Glenwood Trust, whatever, and we would flip them. But anyway, I was going through really massive fight with she had these attorneys and they was kicking my ass. Yosef, they was kicking my ass. So anyway, I forgot that I set up everything and I went to an attorney and I said, well, everything is in a trust. He said, what do you mean everything is in a trust? I said, well, everything I have is in a trust. He says, where's the trustee? I said, well, he's in Florida. And she goes, they don't, because the law is, that's why Kennedy's everything was in trust. The law was you don't have to file who your trustee is. And if they find out who the trustee is, they got to pay for the expense to bring him to court. And if he has the paperwork of the trust, do not reveal who you are. He don't have to say anything. He can't go to jail for that. He has to follow the living trust, the trust. So what happened was they find out that I had a trust, but I had the trust on, the house was in an LLC. The LLC was owned by the trust. That trust was owned by an LLC, and then the other one was owned by another trust. So it was no way. But they tried this smart ass question. And I was already prepared. They put me on the stand. I would never forget, and this is true story, all of you legal folks. She said, we need to know, do you own that trust? And they gave the name, and the judge said, you got to answer the question. And I remember distinctly, that guy told me, you don't own a trust. You got interest in it. So I didn't have to lie on stage. I said, no, I don't own it. Had they asked me how much interest I had in that trust, then what was that worth? They could have started working there. And the judge just said, okay, well, he doesn't own it.
Boom.
Boom. I was like, damn, I walked out. And I remember the ex-wife lawyer told her, about whoever your husband is, that fucker is Houdini. He's Houdini. And that's a true story. And I've been doing it ever since. I help people all the time. Even this stuff now is LLC owned by a trust. And you don't have to tell who the trustee is. You pick somebody way out of state that they got to find them some kind of way. And that's how the government and the Kennedys do it, because a trust could be filed in somebody's safe. You don't have to. It's not court record. So with that being said, let's get on and talk about some stuff. All right. So what we can do is truly, don't worry, if any one of y'all I marry in the future, I'm going to be totally transparent with you. Okay? Just let you know. It's about legacy now. You got to know everything with them go.
All right.
So the whole thing is this. We're going to do a Q&A. Before we start, there's a couple of people that posted some things from our last show. So I'm just going to put them up. There was a couple of comments. One in particular was by Lucy Red Terrets on the screen. She said, what an awesome guest collaboration. Brother Yosef is a powerful seer and so knowledgeable on so many things. Awesome guest, Roderick. So that's a shout out to her. There was another comment from G Money Wisdom. He said, Brother Yosef thought that I wouldn't notice his crispy, fresh ass cut on the thumbnail. You ain't slick. Ha ha ha, bro. So,
a little something, something.
yeah, I thought that was funny. Another one was like, no lie, I missed the style of delivery that Roderick brings, the natural flow of conversations. Keep it up. So Weasel 804, thank you. And the last one is, this is a great collaboration between the two of you. Thank you for this. It was powerful, informative, and this was from Shanice is Love. All right. So with that being said, oh, okay. This comment said, it was awesome how you're making all of these videos on occult symbols just as I started researching, and he was talking about the topic. So the first question that I'm going to give to you was a comment that somebody had, and I thought it'd be fitting. I text them back and say, hey, make sure you come in. We're going to answer your question next. So this is the first question before we go into the chat. He says, it's Shadow661 says, what you think about the lesser banishing ritual of the Pentagon for personal protection and cleansing? What do you think?
Great question. Great question. I think the lesser banishing ritual is very powerful.
Okay.
For cleansing. Yes, it helps with protection, but once you do the rites and the actual ritual itself, I believe it does more of a cleansing effect on your person than it does a protection. It does protection to a certain extent, but if you want some heavy protection, there's other things you can do. But I would definitely recommend the lesser banishing ritual definitely after you finish a ritual. So if you do some type of ritual, you should always ground yourself after a ritual. Okay. And the lesser banishing ritual is a great way to once again cleanse your energy and ground yourself. So that's what I would say with the lesser banishing ritual. All right. It's definitely great.
All right, so here we go. If you got a question, put it in chat. You go ahead and then you can count on a list who it's for as well, so we'll know. Of course, he's.
Can I say something else real quick too, brother?
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I want to give out 2 books that if a person is studying the occult,
okay,
these are must-have books. Okay, I've said this on my channel before, but I have to keep reiterating it because when I ask people, sometimes they're like, "No, I don't got that book." You have to have these books, you know. Or when I come to your house, if Brother Yosef ever come to anybody's house on here and you don't got these books, I'm not going to believe it when you say you're an occultist. I ain't going to believe it, right? The Secret Teaching of All the Ages by Manly P. Hall, okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, just information on top of information, great information. I learned a lot throughout the years from studying this book right here.
Now, I have that book. It's a different cover, though.
Yeah, they changed the covers over the years. My teacher, Imam, had one with a literal gold thing.
Mine's kind of gold and black and all that. Yeah, so I have.
Yeah. So great book, family. I recommend this one here. And the other book is a book that has a lot of information. It's called The Dragon Legacy. Okay, The Secrets of a Ancient Bloodline. All right, very, very powerful book. I recommend people getting this book here. So you got to have these 2 books to start. I
think I have that book in this drive. I know I have the other stuff because that book, I have it. And that goes all the way to reptilian, though, because I was reading some of it.
Mm-hmm. Talks a little bit about that.
Yeah. And so I might put it up in the, if I can find it, which I should be able to, it's the PDF, though. Everything's PDF. I'll put it in the secrets.tv for the members. And then you guys can read it and talk about it. We can chat privately because there's things we can say in that Patreon that we cannot say out loud, but we can chat, go from there. All right. So let me look at any questions that we have. If not, then we'll be talking. All right. Anybody got a question, put it up. And then again, if you want priority of your question, super chat it. But in the meantime, if there's no super chat, ask your question and we're going to do it either way. But I just want people that, case it's moving pretty fast. So let's roll out the first question. Oh, go ahead.
Say it again?
Oh, I was asking them to roll out the first question.
Oh, okay. I did see one I want to say real quick.
Right here?
Somebody asked me to give more information on the lesser banishing ritual.
Yeah, that's my mom.
It's very easy to really research and look up, but it's part of the Golden Dawn. It's part of their thing. I don't follow that type of magic anymore, but it's one of the more famous parts of magic that people talk about a lot, is that lesser banishing ritual, because it does work. Like I said, definitely for cleansing and grounding. But they have a lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram and the hexagram. And I don't know if people know that. You know what I'm saying? The pentagram and the hexagram. So the one that people are mostly referring to is definitely the pentagram, dealing with the Golden Dawn. And it's not much to really say, except it's a cleansing ritual. Yahe Vahe, you know, you guys know what it is. And, you know, it's a lot of information on the internet about it. You know what I'm saying? So there's really nothing else to say about it, except it's really great for grounding. And I think that's the number one thing people need to understand about the lesser banishing ritual. They think you can just do it. You can, but it's really, you're supposed to really do it after you do some type of ritual. You can use it to ground yourself and your energy. And it's a great way to use it for that.
All right, there y'all have it. And again, someone said, can you see my text? If I read that back to you, yes, I can see your text. The other question is, what do y'all think about dream sorcery and magic of Carlos Castaneda? I don't know of him.
Yep, Castaneda, yep. I think dream sorcery is 100% real. It goes down in the dream world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and the dream world, dream world is very real, very powerful. Dream sorcery is, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what specifically part of dream sorcery you want to talk about, but I can tell you that it's very real. Magicians have many fights on the dream on the dream world. Also called the astral world, by the way. Something that we all have access to, something that we all deal with every night when we go to sleep. The astral world. So yeah, we all have access to it. It's very real, and sorcery can be done in the dream world.
All right. So Kay, you have a question, but it's several questions, and we don't want to take us too far deep. So if you can consolidate it to your one main question, I'll prioritize it when you redo it for me. Okay. All right. So the next question is Audio Rob. He says, there a ritual to teach or reach the Jedi experience?
The Jedi experience. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Yeah.
Jedis are not real in magic, but I understand from a Star Wars. I know they have a Bible. They are a religion. I haven't studied the Jedi religion. It's not, as far as my understanding goes, it's not part of the magical system. The Jedi.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. Someone mentioned about the banishing rituals using 8-sided star.
That's very advanced to explain, but
can they get
it is possible.
Patreon or something?
Oh, I know for Anubis. I know. Yeah. So I'm surprised you asked that question, but some people don't even know. But yeah, you could do a lesser banishing ritual with any star, but it has to be performed correctly. That's something I don't want to explain because we don't know what you're doing. You can build up the wrong type of energy. But I always tell a person to focus on a lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram first, and then in bigger circles, in high magic circles, meaning that there's more than one person. You can perform high magic by yourself, by the way, but you would need to have a familiar with you. You would need to call in spirits to work with you on the ritual and perform high magic. But the eight-pointed star will be used more of a high magic, would mean it's a group ritual or ceremony, just to help people understand that.
Okay, great. Kay, don't forget, I'm waiting on your question. Just regroup it down to, one question, because I know it was a couple, and I'm just trying to get other people. And if I'm missing your question, like I said, it's because that chat is moving. And I suggest super chatting because it highlights and puts it over. We can't miss that. But regardless, I'll do my best to make sure I get and see what I see. Because once it scrolls up, I don't see it. I just want you to know. So I'm not ignoring you. I just don't see it. Long as the chats are moving. Let me see here at the top if someone said, is deja vu a dream? Or
no, deja vu is a part of the program, the human construct, to let you know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be in life. So it's a reminder. Because let me say it like this: in the fourth dimension, things play out there before they come to the third dimension. So you'll have a dream about something, and it will happen exactly the way you dreamed it in the third dimension. That's where the deja vu comes from. You saw it before, you experienced it before, and usually that was in the fourth dimension, a dream, and then you see it again. That happened to me a couple months ago when I don't get deja vu as much as I used to, but I went to Hawaii with my family, and I saw a little girl run out of the elevator, and when I saw her do it, it was like, oh, I've been here before, and I remember a dream I had months before of a little girl running out of an elevator. It was deja vu right there. So
Wow.
that let me know I was supposed to be on this trip.
All right. One of my moderators, which I definitely give them priority, and I had to scroll back and I saw it. What do you believe? What do you believe are generational curses, and is there a means to dissolve them?
Yes, generational curses are 100% real. Everybody who's ever born on a planet deals with a generational curse. So I just want to be clear: every family has at least one generational curse in it that we all have to overcome. So you have to understand this goes into karma, because you have to overcome your family's karma. And what do I mean by that? Well, you can have a string of people in your family that get on drugs real bad. Maybe people have an addictive nature. The women in the family they probably don't get married, right? The men in the family, they get murdered young, or they go to jail a lot, alcoholics, on and on and on, right? Your job is to see the family karma. Trust me, you're gonna see it when you're young. You're gonna notice it. Whatever it is, sometimes it can be health issues, like whatever it is, family. Your job is to notice it and then make sure you don't fall a victim to that. That's the main thing you're supposed to do in a generational curse. So that's what those are. You're supposed to break it and then not pass it on to the next generation.
Yeah.
That's how you break the generational curse. Somebody has to become a sacrifice. That's the hard part. So let's say, for instance, that your family is known for gossiping. And then one day you decide, I'm not going to gossip. I'm going to treat people with respect, and I'm not going to talk about people. And first of all, it's going to be hard, because you're going to start looking at yourself like, why do I got to stop? Why do I got to be the one that got to change my life? But it's going to be for the sake of the next generation. You're going to become a sacrifice to a certain extent, right? For the next generation, so it doesn't pass on. So that's what it is. That's what the generational curses are. We all have them. Some of us got a bunch of them in our family, but at the same time, everybody's meant to overcome them.
It is very, when you say sacrifices, and they come in a lot of different forms. And when I was talking to my psychic sister a while back, after I had, got out of my marriage, there was a lot of stuff that was in her family, daddy, incest. There was a lot of shit. And I didn't realize the power of that till one day I'll never forget, because, I did this thing to try to make sure, and I was trying to sit her down as look, I'm going to help you break this curse, because now that we're together, this is no longer going. I didn't know, and you said it, but I was told that I was making that sacrifice, and dude, it damn near killed me. All of the stuff, and I used to sit up at night like, this cannot be happening. Their stuff in that family was so strong, and when we would separate, I will be gone 2 months, and I tell you, I would stack paper, we would get back together, and stuff would just crash. And I didn't really think about that. But when it started personal and health, and I would have dreams at night, I was like, what the fuck is happening? And finally I realized years later, after talking, that was when I sat down and said I was going to do that. So right after that, I released all. I'm like, if that shit is, I don't let them deal. Y'all can keep that generational shit. Keep it going. Be real careful with the person that you're going to combine, because they could have some shit that is so strong. And I could have told you back then, I would have never seen it coming, because I'm not in the space I'm at now. But today, oh yeah, you got to ask those questions and get to know not only childhood trauma, but that leads to those curses of the family and what's going on. And it's prominent, whether women never been or couldn't be married, or the all the nieces and nephews getting raped by somebody. I'm just saying, and it's not, and I'm not saying if you went through that, I'm sorry for you, but it happens. And all of that stuff was just, but the family didn't come together and get rid of that dude, or the person they knew was doing it to them when they were sisters, and now doing it to their children, and the same person is lurking through the family tree. And that generation thing is bad. And you better believe one of them sons is going to pick up that along the way.
I was just about to say that, brother. I was just about to say that. We got to be careful, because if women in the family get molested or raped in the family, it's going to pass down, right? And if that happened to somebody in this generation, this ain't the first time it happened. Also, there's men who are rapists, or they like to molest that if that person has a child, it will be passed down to his sons. Period, point blank.
Yep.
And that child is going to have to overcome, that boy is going to have to overcome something that was genetically passed on to him, right? And that's a generational curse.
That is what I was trying to tell her. I was like, she was talking about, she knew, but I didn't pick up on it. She was like, I just don't want my sons to turn out like my father. And I was like, no, I'm here now. I got this. We're going to break that. Oh God, did I not have a clue? People, this stuff is real. It is so real that that's as far as I can say. Let me try to catch some questions. If your questions done moved up while we were talking, I missed it. I'll try to scroll and catch the next one that I see. Someone says, how do you break the curses? Is there books, any good books to read?
So yeah, the way I already explained how to break the curse. Whatever it is, you got to make sure that you don't do it. First of all, it doesn't affect you. And if it does affect you, you got to make sure it doesn't pass on to the next generation. If you have to move away, get away from the family, put this child in some type of military school when they're young to make sure their mind is developed. I'm just throwing stuff out there, y'all. Get the child away from everybody, raise them in the middle of the country somewhere. Whatever you have to do, that's what you're gonna have to do, because the same spirits and energies that influenced the one child or generation, like prime example, I'll tell you one of the biggest generational curses there is. A lot of young mothers who had babies early, right? Some people don't look at that as a generational curse. My mother had me at 15, 16 years old. You know what I'm saying? So, but what happens is, if you look down the line, a lot of the grandmothers, they had babies early, and sometimes out of wedlock without being married and stuff like that. Cool, that happens a lot, right? But that now this woman has a daughter. You better believe that the same opportunities that was presented to you to have a baby early is going to be presented to your daughter at some point.
The repeat is there.
It's going to be presented to your daughter. So you're going to have to do everything you can to raise that child a certain way to make sure, hey, you don't want to teach her to hate boys, but you want to teach her to have respect for herself and to know what to look for when it comes to certain people. So I just wanted to say that.
All right. So we had a super chat, but it wasn't a question. He said, much love for the answer. My apologies. I wasn't supposed to ask about that here. No, we're Q&A, brother. So,
yeah, it's all good, brother.
Yeah, it's all good. So we appreciate the support. Thank you. That's how that I was able to see that message and through all that, just let you know. But I appreciate it. But again, you don't have to. If we get to it, we're going to get to it if I can see it through. So with that being said, I got to scroll back to find a question, and it'll be whoever's there. All right. So here's one. It's kind of it is one question. I thought it was so long, it was a two-part. I was going to say no two-part questions. Is it possible for someone to ascend with their earthly vessels after achieving enlightenment, and what is the purpose of doing it? So that is kind of a double. They use the word and conjunction, junction.
They snuck it in there.
Function. Yeah, they did pretty good. I appreciate
it. Okay. Yeah, I can answer that though. So for those who know who hear me talk about this, I practice something called light body. And light body practice is simply me trying to merge with the frequency of the sun, so that when I pass away, I can obtain a fifth dimensional body that they call the solar body. Okay. There's also stuff I talked about called the rainbow body.
Right.
There's also secretive stuff I talked about in Patreon members talk about the Metatron body, or the Merkaba body, right? Diamond body is another body, right? These are Dzogchen Buddhists are some of the first people to really make this stuff known in the public. There has been over 300 documented cases from the Chinese and Tibetan and Indian government about people who have transformed this is facts, people who have transformed their bodies into lights. So to answer that question, it depends on what school you come from. In some schools, whether it might be in Tibet or Africa or one of the Asian, schools, some of them believe in taking your body with you. So yes, it is possible to ascend with your vessel. It's a lot harder to ascend with your physical body, but you can ascend with your physical body. Then some people say, hey, you live your life, you get old, but you work on your spiritual energy, which is kind of the school I come from. You don't neglect the body, but you're not taking your body with you. You're taking your soul with you, and your soul goes into the vessel that you developed, if that makes sense. So yes, it is possible to do, and I would read Dzogchen Buddhist information if you're looking to get more into that.
All right. So for those of you in the chat, if you're trying to get people's attention, make sure y'all follow the moderators' advice, please, because it will definitely get ignored. The all caps is really, if you didn't know, in any world, all caps is really an aggressive tone. Just let you know. If you never heard of that. So if you say anything, or like I get an email, someone uses all caps, I just know they're screaming, and you may not be, but that is the tonality of all caps. So if you know, that's cap, right? We got a slogan for that stuff. But anyway, so be careful with that if you can. We're going to ignore it, especially if it's an all caps question. I'm not going to focus on it at all, just letting you know. But if you want to say something, just come back and put it down so we can see it, and we can, acknowledge. All right. Anybody got new? No, don't worry about it, Regina. Anyway, you're good. Yeah. So if y'all want to, let's see. Somebody said I learned that the hard way. Yeah, it's all good. All right. So another part of this is to understand that. I don't see any new questions here first. All right. I'm scrolling back. So I'm gonna wait for the next new question. How about that? Because I gotta go all the way back up. So if you got a question, okay, so here's one right now. All right. So he says, what number life do you think you're on, and if you believe in that, brother?
That's a good question. I know for a fact my soul is millions of years old already. I've only remembered 4 or maybe 5 of my past lives. But the oldest past life I had was in Atlantis, and I've told that story many times.
Right.
I can't give you a number of what life I'm on. I don't know, but I know I've been here multiple times. Me and my wife together, we've been together in multiple lifetimes together. Once I remember, well, twice, only 2 lifetimes I remember. I have been with other people in different lifetimes. You guys heard my story. I was even a Chinese woman who had 8 children. Yes, it's the truth. I lived as a Chinese woman in a past life who had 8 children. I experienced that in one lifetime. I don't have any other memories of being a woman, but I also was in Atlantis as a hermaphrodite, and I was 9 feet tall. And
Wow.
my wife was 9 feet tall, and I just knew it was her. And you guys also heard my story. My wife has a birthmark around her eye, and I told the story that she was actually I was actually a Jewish guy in somewhere in Europe, and the Nazis came for us, and we went out like Bonnie and Clyde. I got shot in the chest, and I looked at her and said, hey, I'll see you again, just like I've been teaching you. We'll see each other again in the future. And then she looked back out the window and she got shot in the face, right in her eye. And to this day, she has a birthmark around her eye. And yeah, so we've been together in multiple lifetimes. And I've always been a rebel, baby. I've been a rebel for the longest, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I never was good with the government. I always fought against the government. So that's what it is, man. So yes, I do believe in that, to answer that question. But I don't know exactly what number I'm on.
All right. So this is one of my moderators, and then we have a super chat. We'll put that up next. But it says, do you still use your wand, and are they necessary to the channel power?
Yes, I have many wands that I use, depending on what type of ritual I'm doing. I actually taught a class in my tribe about wanding, how to wand correctly. And we use certain styles of martial arts to move energy, and usually Tai Chi moves to move energy through our bodies with the wands. That's how I was taught by my teachers to use I'm not going to say exactly which ones, but that's secret, but the tribe knows certain types of Tai Chi moves to move the energy. And if I'm doing a moon ritual, I can have a wand for that. If I'm doing a ritual with dragons, which is very rare, I do have a dragon wand that a brother made me, very powerful. And yeah, I have different wands for different things. I have an all-purpose wand as well. Trying to see if I had one next to me. I usually got my one next to me that I show everybody, but it ain't here today. So, but yeah, I use wands for everything, everything there is, man.
You know what that is? Jordan Maxwell, which one of those videos I'm putting up in the thing, he talks about the wand and really the power behind it and why it made its way to Hollywood, right? And the holly tree and all of these things where it's just mostly forgotten when it comes down to that. But speaking of past lives, I've told a story a few times. I done had 3 or 4 psychics, even in the last, said this is your last time here, so obviously I done been, blah, blah, blah. And the first time I heard it, I was like, what are you talking about? And then of course the second was no coincidence, the third and the fourth. And that lets you know that for me, that's all about now, how do I live forever? And that's when I started this really pressing a YouTube channel and want to put up content, get books written, so that whatever, whoever meets me long after I'm gone, they're going to know how I thought. They're going to know my perspective in the whole 9 yards. Biomarker immortality is what it's kind of called. And so you got to work to leave that legacy. Even you got great grandkids. They may not know the knowledge that one of you have today that won't get passed on from their mother's mother, but archive it, put channels up, because they don't take YouTube channels down. If you gone, they leave it up. They don't bother to do that. Billions of channels. And make sure your name is there. And hopefully your grandkid or great type the name in and see your thoughts. They see their grandmother, grandfather, uncles, or whatever, and they learn from you as you're teaching others. And that never know. And it may be you come back and find you and know where you need to begin from a message from your younger self. This stuff is really there. Now, Brother Yosef, you and I need to, I'll do this privately. And then I did a video, Barbara Lamb, a lot of people don't know, she's one of the top regression therapists in the world. And her and I are really good friends. And so we raised money and we got a regression done on a young lady in our group. And Barbara, we had her to go to a hotel so she can be quiet. She put her laptop next to her. I was allowed to record it. And when she did her regression, she's a beautiful girl and went all the way back to in the Holocaust, where she was just in the Nazis and all that stuff, but she was a boy. And you can tell she just started saying, she said, I smell dirt. She was just going through stuff. And Barbara was asking, she said, I see boots. All of a sudden, she was describing that the Nazi was about to come. She said, I can't save him. I'm trying to get her. And right before they walked up and killed her, and she was just crying, and she would say, I'm a boy. I see me. I'm a little boy. I can't save them. And they're coming for us. We're hiding in this wall. It was so sad. When it was finished, Barbara and I said, we can't show this to nobody. Not how people will see that, and I may put it up. I'm going to call her. She said I could use it. It was the most profound regression that I ever witnessed. And, tears were just rolling in her eyes as Barbara walked her through it. She was going deeper and deeper and deeper. And then, boom, she just knew who her past life, and it was trauma. Oh, my. So I just like,
Wow.
All right. So, all right, let's look and see if we got another question here. We got a super chat. She says, when I was in the Navy, I was standing watch at 2 a.m. An enormous ball of light was above me, and I was so scared I ran inside the ship. No one believed me. You know what? I have a few people from Lash Down. If you want to tell that story, because we're going to be doing stuff with Project Black, the Black League of Alien Contact Knowledge, I would love to just talk with you because, I always said that we were on the ships. We was on the same boats. Brave me and him talk. He's down to help me any way that I can. All these people, I just got to start getting stories from our community, like yours and stuff. So if you don't mind contacting me on contact@whythebigsecret.com, and please put your telephone number in there. I get them all the time. They just email, okay, I'm interested in whatever, and no number. And it just takes too long. But if you are willing to talk about your story and eventually someday share it as we start putting that out there, I would love you to be part of our circle on Project Black, if you're willing. But I do know it can be trauma and all that stuff. All right. So she said, I definitely tell that story. It was so wild. Okay. Well, again, contact@whythebigsecret.com is the email. CONTACT@whythebigsecret. Please put in your number. I'll call you this weekend and we can discuss it. All right. So let's look back. Let me see if I have another question. Let me kind of scroll up. My mods don't have any questions, so pass them. No other super chat, so let me pass that. And all right, somebody said, do you, in your consultations, do you dig into other people's past life?
No, I don't. I used to do readings. I was very good at it too. Still am good at it.
Mm-hmm.
But I started realizing something very important when I did my readings. And this is nothing against any tarot reader or anybody out there. But I'm really big into helping people. I want to really see people help. And what I started realizing was that people were so amazed and surprised that I knew something that only they knew, or I found something out about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I started realizing I was actually entertaining these people.
Okay.
So reading a person became entertainment. You know what I mean? On top of me actually helping them through Q&A. So now I do only a Q&A. What's going on? What's the problem? Let's talk about it. And I'm noticing I'm way able to help people way better than doing a reading.
Wow. Someone said, what does it mean when you have a dream of replacing a teacher to teach a class of only melanated children?
I'm not sure exactly what that dream means. It's most likely you were in a it says that you have a dream of replacing a teacher to teach a class. I don't know. Maybe it was on another planet where there was a race of beings that were all melanated. I'm not sure, family. I need a lot more detail than that. You know.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, Regina, if you want to, I have not got into the solar report yet, but if there's anything you could email me to help expedite, so I don't have to do a lot of searching. The email address is right here on the screen. Email it to me, and then I can go over it. And if you want to put a contact number in there, then we can talk after I go over it from there. So it'll be very helpful if you are able to directly just send that information to me, and then I can just go access it immediately. All right. So let's see. Any other question here? Someone says, oh no, they had some good things to say about us. They says, Roderick, Truth versus Authority. Thanks for RH negative report. Love it. Beloved ex bro Yosef about blood types. See if he's an angel. Or you're an angel with your blood type, brother?
So what is he saying? He has RH negative blood type?
Yeah, I did a show, which I'm going to be putting together a new one, a panel of RH negative people. So that is in the plan for February or March. And so I'm going to be reaching out to y'all. If y'all listening and you commented on that, you will be getting a message from me. But yeah, so obviously you just, some people made a contribution and I sent them some information about RH negative blood at that time. But anyway, so basically you can slash that question. I'm sure they just want to know about your blood type. And
I'm O negative.
Okay. And if you're
one of the oldest blood types. I know people that's RH negative, but that's a very rare blood type. But yeah, I'm O negative.
That's extraterrestrial right off the bat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. And O negative is one of the oldest blood types on the planet. Yeah. I think they're also just like RH negative, they can't get their blood from nobody else except for RH negative, I think. And same thing with O negative, if I'm not mistaken. They can't get their blood except from anybody else that's an O negative, I'm not believe. If I'm not, I think that's the case.
A cart, he said, was melanated. That's another term for black blood. Am I correct? Or black people?
What was that?
He wanted to know what is melanated. So he's in he was here last week, but he's in Canada, so he may not have seen that term before here. They don't use it.
Melanated simply means a person that has melanin. But that's everybody on the planet, including animals.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We have a lot more of it. Yeah, go ahead.
We have a lot more. It comes on the outside of our skin, but even Europeans have melanin. It's just inside their body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's basically what they mean there. Someone said the email again. I'm gonna put it back up on the screen for you real quickly, and let me just see here. There it goes. Oh no, that's Cash App. Yeah, there you go. Cash App. If any of you found any value tonight, you can Cash App to the thing here. That'll be cool. I need to put a banner up for that. I just hadn't done it, but and then I'll put the email back up. There you go. There's the show ticker for the Cash App, and go back to the comments. All right. So, any other questions? Y'all need to put it in there. We are at the top of the hour, meaning almost 30 minutes left. So,
I want to answer one that I see.
Okay, go ahead.
Somebody said if I forgot the other part because I missed it, but it said that what are meteorites? If
if they from space or from
if space isn't real, what is meteorites? Mm-hmm. Well, you got to understand something, family. You're taught that meteorites come from space. You're taught that. You got to understand now. Some of y'all, this may be hard to understand. We live in a dome. Okay, ancient scriptures have talked about it. The firmament in the heaven, it's real, family. You could throw a ball in the air, and when it come down, they land right back in your hand. Earth ain't spinning, right? But at the end of the day, and I don't consider myself a flat earther. I just believe in what I believe is truth, right? At the end of the day, we live in a dome, family, and the dome you're living inside of a high level technology. High up in the atmosphere, there are other entities and beings that live there. That's right. There are beings that live. Everybody needs to go watch a movie called, and I was just telling Brother Roderick Martin about this yesterday. Or was it today? I was telling about a movie
today. Yeah.
Today,
hell,
okay.
we were talking about hell and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie called some of my followers in here, y'all know what it is, but the movie called what's it called? The Astro City, right? And the astral plane was right up in the sky the whole time. They're looking down to Earth. Astral plane is right there. And that's really how it is. So what I'm saying is, if you study meteorites, and shout out to my teacher, y'all know who he is, you know what I'm saying? One of my teachers, you know what I mean? But, you know, I don't like to expose him in public because I don't like to send the wrong people to him. But in my Patreon, y'all know who he is. But he talks about something very powerful, and that is that meteorites actually have DNA inside of them. Why in the world does a rock have DNA? That's because meteorites are actually parts of people's bodies. Whose bodies? Must be some type of ET or deity, right? It must be some type of ET or deity. The Catholic Church is the biggest. They collect more asteroids and meteorites than anybody else in the world. The Catholic Church. So I want you to think about that for a second. There's no space. Space exists in the fourth dimension, but not in the third dimension. We're in a dome here.
Wow.
What you're getting is entities that live up high that are having fights, and parts of their bodies are falling to the ground. If you don't believe me, research it right now. Google it. There's DNA found inside of meteorites. DNA in meteorites, and you got, and that's what it is, man.
There was someone else had a question that they keep seeing rabbits in their front yard, and I was just going to tell them, I mean, you got some good grass. They're out there breakfast on your grass. But all I can tell you, catch one of them cooking, leave the window open, let the smell of rabbit hit the front yard. You will not have that problem anymore. But anyway, is there any symbols in rabbits for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Rabbits represent fertility, prosperity, right? High level finances. It's a symbol of Venus to a certain extent. So that's why, they say, man, y'all going at it like wild rabbits. Y'all popping babies out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They say a rabbit can have a baby. Soon as they produce the babies, they can have another baby immediately. They can get pregnant again immediately.
Yeah, I used to raise meat rabbits.
Ooh, so they go at it. So rabbits represent fertility. So that's a good sign, family, that there could be blessings and things prospering in your life.
Yeah, rabbit. So, I got a couple of another question here. Is there a difference? Let me put it on the thing here. Is there a difference between hell notes and heaven notes?
Good question. So, and some people will say no, there's no difference, and then some people will say yeah. I just remember my spiritual father one time, Lord Indra, telling me, I don't want hell notes, I want heaven notes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll leave that up to the people whether they believe. Is your choice if you believe there's a difference. But what you're going to see on the internet mostly is hell notes, which is a term that they use to stop the people, because the Chinese people they weren't Christians, so they made them change their stuff to hell notes instead of ancestor money. But I'll leave that choice to y'all, fam.
All right, so we have a super chat, which is priority. And she says, "Hi, Rod. Hi, brother Yosef." And thank you. There's people that saying hello, brother Yosef, and all that, but they don't speak to me. I don't know, but that's okay. Y'all welcome my partner here as we do. But she says, "Hi, Rod. Thank you." And can brother Yosef, and that was a thank you implied in there for you, tell us where to get a good one and a sound frequency machine.
A good one. Well, let me start with the sound frequency machine. I can't think of the name that I used to tell people to get. Man, I can't think of the name of the one. But there's one from a company. I got like 3 of them in my house. They're not around me right now, though, so I can't remember the name, family. But there are some really good sound machines out there that you can get. I apologize, I can't think of the name of this company. But as far as wands go, if you want to make your own wand, I recommend making a wand out of oak wood, because oak is probably one of the most powerful and protective woods there are, or a holly tree. Find a holly tree. You can actually order Hollywood right on the internet. You can order the Hollywood, and you can craft your own wand. Get you, a little sharp knife and start shaping your own wand. Sand it down. I've made my own wand countless times.
Gotcha.
Right, and I'm gonna tell you right now, there's no more powerful wand than the one you create. Because while you cutting it and sanding it, you're putting all your energy and attention into it, family. So I recommend doing it that way.
All right, my moderator said, Roderick, we talked about your fresh cut tonight. Thank y'all. All right. So I'm gonna look at another question. Now, do you have a question? Sometimes people sit in the audience and don't really know something is toying with them. Is it something that you want to say or ask someone, or just maybe people are feeling or dealing with something today because they don't know where we are today, whether it's moon or whether is there something you think you might want to throw out there and see something? Yeah. I
could definitely say something. I want everybody on here to understand something very true. We are in a new timeline. Okay. We are in a different timeline. And this timeline is leading us towards what I call, well, I didn't come up with the term of it, but I like to talk about it a lot, a type 1 civilization. We are heading towards a type 1 civilization. And Trump being in office is going to push that. I know some people are not really Trumpers. I'm not a Trumper. I tell people all the time, even though I talk a lot of positive things about Donald Trump, I got my own government. I don't vote. I don't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? I can care less what happens to Donald Trump. But what I see is what I see. And they needed somebody in the office that was crazy enough, rebel enough to change things. Everybody else they've been puppets. And don't get it twisted. He is a puppet. He's part of the family. Don't get it twisted.
Oh my God, yes.
He's definitely part of the family. But at the same time, there's things that he's doing. So I want people to understand we're in a new timeline, family. And this timeline is going to lead us towards a type 1 civilization. And you have to really understand what's going on. First of all, you're lucky to be here. Everybody didn't make it to this moment. A lot of people was taken out during that, jabba dabba doo time when I don't want to say the word because they may cancel the video. But you guys know what I'm talking about. A lot of people didn't make it through that. But at the same time, fam, I want you guys to understand we're in a new timeline. Things are about to change starting Monday, baby. Things are about to change like the world ain't never seen before. Just remember I'm telling you that. And what I mean good and bad, it's about to transform. We had enough bad. We need some good now. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want people to understand. That's where we're going, fam.
I'm looking for a video clip that I may be able to do it, share my screen. We got a question here, super chat, then we got another one right after of it. He says, I dream of escaping a house. A Native American couple gave me an orange liquid shot outside, and then I woke up. Your thoughts?
Very interesting. That could, do you have Native American ancestors? It could be your ancestors, family. You know what I mean? One thing about me, if I don't know, I don't know. So that dream right there is very interesting. I need a lot more detail with that. But you getting a shot from somebody in a dream and they're Native American, it could be an ancestor. It could be somebody trying to help you, family. That's the best I can tell you right there.
And you're going to have access. I'm loading stuff 3 times. I mean, every Friday, I'm just going to load new stuff. And you're talking some incredible stuff, man. And we can't put that out in the airways, but there's a few of you got your membership while we've been talking. Appreciate you. You're getting ready to go on a journey. All right. Someone says, I'm ready for the next step in our evolution. May our conscience be our guide. So maybe that's a statement there. All right. So let me take that down. Look for the next question. Yeah, my moderator said, I seen that clip before. That was when I realized everything he'd been saying. Yeah, and so I got the whole video in there. So y'all can go in there and watch it and get the sugar honey. It is just about as crazy as it gets. All right, so again, if you find in value, you want to cash app us tonight, you can. I think we did get something. Yeah, Ashley, let's give a shout out for her to send a contribution through cash app. Okay, so all right, let me look and see if we got another question. We got about 22 minutes left, you all. And so we can kind of do that. All right. So one of my moderators, she says, is there any significance of 3 elephants holding a spear covered in stars with smaller spears inside? I keep having a dream of this.
You could be dealing with Lord Ganesha. You know, anytime you see an elephant is definitely a representation of a deity named Lord Ganesha, who rules over universes. So it's funny that you say spears were covered with stars. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I would definitely research Lord Ganesha to see if you get some type of significance from that.
Wow. All right. So there we go. Let me go back and see if I had a. All right. So here's a question. Says, I am hearing about med beads. Any thoughts on that? I keep hearing about
med beds.
Yeah, med beds.
Yep, med beds are very powerful. They're actually ET technology. There's different variations of them that people make, but they push frequencies and light through the body to heal the body. These things are here. They're kind of expensive right now, but they will become cheaper over time and be available to the public. These are Octarian. This is Octarian technology that has been given to the Earth. You see, let me tell you guys this. When something happens, they just can't give it to you right away. Human beings have to be programmed. So we have to slowly learn to accept things. Like if they gave us, let's say they gave us a machine that can warm your food up in 1 second. People still going to use microwaves because they've been programmed to use a microwave. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's going to be, you know how older folk are, no matter how good the technology, they're going to go back to the old thing that they used to. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You may have a cell phone that could teleport you. They not getting on that. They're not dealing with that cell phone that can teleport you. They're going to go back to the old flip phones. You know what I mean? So human beings have to slowly learn to accept things. But yes, the med beds are very powerful, family.
All right. Someone says, I keep having a dream that I walk down a hallway looking into doors and there's never anything in the rooms. What's that's all about? Listen,
okay.
Before you answer that, mm-hmm. I was told, somebody was like, dude, you better get everything you need to get while you're here. And I was like, what are you talking about? And, because, being told that once you go to heaven, you're going to get your mansion. He said, Roderick, when you get to heaven, you're going to open up that door and the room is going to be blank and empty. And I was like, what? He said, yeah, because he's going to be like, yeah, you supposed to got all that stuff down in earth. Why are you up here looking for it? But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So yes. So that dream. So anytime you have a dream about walking down a hallway or you're in a house, it always represents your mind. I want you to always understand that. So what you're really saying that you was walking, you're in your mind and you was opening doors. And what did that question say? They said they opened the door. It was nothing there.
Yeah, she said it was nothing there. Let me put it back up.
There was nothing there. Okay. Let me see. There was never anything in the rooms.
Yeah.
Okay. So there could be aspects of your consciousness or memory that's missing for some apparent reason. So because the question is, why do those doors exist? There's something there. Or there's something that used to be there. So you can have repressed memories, something that was hidden. That's what that dream is trying to show you, that you have repressed or hidden memories. But anytime you're walking down a hallway or you're opening doors in a dream, it's inside. It represents your own mind, fam.
Someone said, what did the Pope release by opening up those portals? I'm like, deities? Shit, somebody.
You know what? Let me be honest about that. Nobody really knows what he really was doing. We got an idea. There was a lot of people talking about Lucifer, but y'all know I dropped the science on Lucifer. That's not the same Lucifer that he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? No. But people pretend like they know, but nobody really knows because whatever ritual he was doing was a secret ritual. He was doing what he was doing. You know what I mean? And we have to look back at that and see what happened, what opened the earth. I heard people say they heard babies crying and stuff. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what? There were some people had some tapes of that, but you never know if they could have manufactured.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be something that, and that's what I used to tell people all the time, that you don't know about. Nobody really knows exactly what it is, and you got to run, especially in ufology. Oh, I know exactly everything. No, you don't, and you just got to be careful.
And let me say this: the Vatican. I'm a astral projector. Meaning that I can project my astral body into the physical world, right? On certain nights, usually when it's a full moon. But when I do that, y'all, I take advantage of the world. I go find all kinds of stuff. I don't see stuff that I know I can't even say on here. But with that being said, I've tried to go to the Vatican multiple times. And I told people there's jinn literally Jen Spears that's around the Vatican. I can't even get in. But I can tell y'all this, they definitely do rituals all the time in the Vatican. They just let you see one ritual. And now everybody knows exactly what he was doing. No, you don't. You know,
Yeah.
nobody really knows what these people are doing.
No.
Right? And there's going to be constant distraction. In the book Behold the Pale Horse, he said distraction is the primary key.
Oh my God.
Anytime they showing you something, it's to distract you.
Yep.
What are you doing and what are you building and what are you going to move forward in life? That's the number one thing you have to ask yourself.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about that here on this channel, all the distractions, because that's what it all is. It's to keep that mind in a whole different place so that and Jordan Maxwell said that in the video that I put up. He said, everybody's sitting here praying and you're following who they're telling you and where to pray, but they distracted you. You're praying to the wrong place in the wrong direction, so to speak. And that's why these things, at some point, there's difficulty. Someone have a question. I saw a book in a dream the other day titled 800 Ways of Alchemy for the Inner Self, and it was published 2020 in a dream. What are y'all thoughts on that? And I couldn't find it anywhere.
I'd never heard that book before. Seems interesting though.
It may be in my stuff. We got 19,000 ebooks in here from occult different places. I'll look it up, and you send me an email. If I got it, I'll let you know. But anyway, contact@whydabigSecret.com. I think I had a question for me and you. Let me look it up here. Let me go back to it. Oh, he says, Brother Roderick, what are the drones about? All right. So there's a video I want you all to check out, the Sean Ryan show, where he had a guy who posted a manifesto. And just so happened it was the guy who sent them information, I think this manifesto to about 3 or 4 big high known podcasters. Everybody ignored it because they didn't see it or whatever. And they started checking their emails and they seen that he was contacting them. Just so happened it was the guy. Again, when I got to a place today, one of my vendors, her husband said, you won't believe this. He said, I was outside looking at the moon a couple of days ago or yesterday or whenever. He said, I saw 3 huge craft go behind the moon. And I said, man, and I told the guys, if y'all see something like that and it's that big, that was a mothership because that is so far away. Those things are huge. So we've been talking about this is the year that things are happening and coming. The James Webb satellite has spotted a brigade coming back. The rock Amur-Nur, when it came in our atmosphere before Trump was in office, before he left the first time, how it came into our atmosphere, turned around and accelerated back, which meaning it was a man, or not man, but a controlled object. And now that Webb, and we got a big ass space. And for them to be pointing at James Webb just so likely to the area that they can see something coming, that was not coincidence. You get what I'm saying? They knew, they sent that thing in that direction. So how did that tie into the drones? Well, supposedly they're struggling for the new world order. They're struggling for power and control. Because I am a UFO investigator, certified UFO investigator. And if you didn't know, I'm in 11 different TV shows about UFOs. I got a private report that there were orbs actually shooting those things down. Now, when that begins to happen, that is a message from the ETs that whatever that is going to be a big problem. In his manifesto, now back to the drones, he said specifically, we have a major issue in that there's going to be holding back. There's a lot I've been through since I'm talking. Let's see. If you got several questions, then we got to skip it. I just want to answer one. This one I just popped up. It says, anyone hear about time slips with an entity called mirrored men? You ever heard that?
I've never heard that before.
Okay. Never heard that one. Let me see. If there's another question, let me scroll. This one says, do you believe these drones could be sentient AI from some other tech companies that's starting to jump off Wi-Fi signals connected to Starlink? I'm just reaching. You never know with Elon Musk being so close now to whatever. I will tell y'all this, and I'm going to hint this to y'all. We may do a live stream on the inauguration because I need to point out y'all some symbolism that you're about to see that I think a lot of people is going to miss. they're positioning for what they always been talking about, the New World Order agenda. And for the first time ever in this inauguration, that's going to be sitting up front with him is going to be every tech giant, Facebook, OpenAI. The list just goes on and on. They all are bending to the ring.
TikTok.
TikTok, even TikTok, who they're trying to shut him down, by the way.
He
All
coming.
these people, and Elon Musk is trying to buy it. So all this stuff is playing. They're all going to be there. And I promise you, watch the setup and how they're sitting and positioning themselves. There's going to be a lot of symbolism. So we're going to stream it live and we're going to break down what we see in real time. But that is never done before. And only it's a signal that there is a new world order about to come. All right. So we have 9 minutes until Brother Yosef has to go and eat dinner and all that good stuff. And somebody said, do you think our timelines have shifted?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I talked about that earlier. That's something I wanted people to know more than anything. We're in a different timeline now. Expect the unexpected. You know what I mean? I told people to expect the unexpected when people were saying that Camilla was going to win. I said, expect the unexpected.
Right.
Nobody's going to expect that, but just watch. And there's going to be a lot of that happening. There's going to be stuff you never see before, stuff you can't believe that's happening. That's going to happen, good and bad, family. So just brace yourself. Everything changes from here. Everything changes from here. Especially if you follow astrology, 2025 is going to be a crazy year.
Yeah, it's going to be as crazy as it get. Let me scroll up real quick, see if I see anything before I look at any newest questions. We have 8 minutes left. Look, I'm just ticking the talk so they can know. Y'all better get them questions in. And if you want to super chat them too, that'll highlight as well. All right. So someone said I had let me put this up on the screen. I had a dream that I punched a blue spirit dude with a gun in my house. And he asked, what are you doing walking around standing by the front door military style? That's a good one.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's not enough detail to really know what that is. I don't know what that was, family. It probably was just a dream you had. And by just a dream, meaning that you experienced something in the fourth dimension.
Right.
I want to say, anybody in the future that come on here and say dreams, give me some detail so I can really understand. If you say, hey, I saw an orange man with a green hat, I don't know what that was either. You know what I'm saying? I need detail. And sometimes it's the detail that makes you say, oh, okay, I understand now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Y'all remember, no all caps. We're ignoring all that. That's too aggressive to even be thinking about. So if you all capping, you're talking to other people.
Can I answer one question?
Yeah, I see one put up here.
If you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I saw when somebody said, well, what is a type 1 civilization? It's a civilization that's going to deal heavily on the changing of energy, the changing of technology, and the changing of it's going to bring forth a one world government. So when I talk about we're going into a type 1 civilization, part of that is it's going to be a one world government, family. So nobody can stop that. That's going to be part of it, in my opinion. But it doesn't always have to be a bad thing. It will be great if we can all come together and live under one government and everybody be at peace. There's a TV show I told my teacher told us about to watch. It's called Childhood's End. Everybody need to go watch that. Everybody, it will blow your ever living mind. Yeah, Childhood's End. It's about ET showing up and causing peace on Earth, but there's a twist to it. So y'all wait till y'all see who get off the ship. It ain't black people either, but wait till you see who get off the ship. That's the crazy part.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Someone says, why do humans think we can beat ETs with their copied technology? Like, how smart is that? And we can, because there's other ETs giving us technology, knowing about other ETs. So it's not just one. So there's bad, there's good, there's galactic guardians. There's a lot of people and different things here. So there are some that are helping humanity, made deals with our government to abduct, a lot of y'all and trade for technology, so we're taken care of. When you come up missing, somebody was talking to me yesterday and she says, I went outside the other day and I can't wait to be abducted. I said, they're not going to bring you back. I mean, did you think about that? Now,
man.
If they bring you back, then that's a whole nother story because, but you got a couple of children, sweetheart. So you do
Mhm.
know what you asking for. They can hear you.
Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, and they're not gonna bring you back if
You can get abducted in many ways. I used to get abducted every night, y'all. I used to go on an ET ship. They used to take me from an astral perspective. My body stayed in the bed, but my astral body was taken and put on ships, and I was going all around. It was crazy. So, but I'm grateful it was good ETs. I hear some bad stories, people getting probed and all kind of stuff. I ain't experienced none of that. So be careful what you ask for, because you don't know who's going to abduct you. You know what I mean?
All right. So there's a couple of people that just joined our Patreon. Now, I'm getting a notice that they're pledging and versus member. Is that two different things? Are they missing something where they're doing a pledge versus they're pledging the amount, but I think they intended to probably get the membership. But I know you were teaching me on the Patreon stuff.
Yeah. I think my stuff is mostly pledges, because I started mine so long ago. But the membership thing might be something new.
Okay, well, mine had membership, but I noticed that there was a couple of pledges today, but they don't have access to that information. It's like they just so it's real important that you all get the membership, join the membership, because if you just make that pledge, I appreciate it. And then, but if I need to refund it, I will. So just let me know. Reach out to me in an email. Contact@Why the Big Secret. All right, so we're going to spend the last 4 minutes talking to ourselves, to everyone. And I appreciate y'all for the questions and everything. And
I had a great time tonight. Great time.
Yes. Unless there is a super chat that catches our eyes at the last second. But anyway, I appreciate it. You mentioned the last time we talked that you were putting up some of your new medallions and stuff that they need. Have you gotten all it up yet?
Yeah. So I put the last show on here. I put up a bunch of these right here. Okay. I had about maybe 20 left. And man, all them jokers gone. They bought them up. Okay. You know what I mean? So tonight, family, what I'll do is I have the Black Goddess, Black Tara. I have a few more of the Black Tara medallions. So I'll put up something very powerful, by the way, very powerful for protection. And y'all can read up on the Goddess, the Black Tara, very protective energy. But I'm going to put up some of those tonight or tomorrow, most likely tonight. And you guys can check that out over the weekend. But just be warned, if you order something this weekend, you got to give me a break, because Texas is supposed to be experiencing some real severe cold weather.
Yeah.
And I may not be able to get to the post office till probably the end of the week if it gets really bad. So I just want you guys to know that before I say anything. All right. I'll have those up tonight, family. And if you guys are in Atlanta, I'll be in Atlanta on February 8th at the what's it called? The New Black Wall Street. I'll be selling some items out there as well.
Yeah, and make sure y'all jump on Monday. I'm going to be breaking down the quartz, the magic words of quartz. There's a lot of word, and we're going to take it all the way down from esoteric meaning. Then we'll take it down toward a more of what I call a Jordan Maxwell style, and we'll do some magic numbers behind that. Then we'll take it down deeper and global conspiracy side, which I call that's my David Icke side of things. So that's going to be really, really good. So make sure y'all pay attention to that. And then the website will be up for our gear, protection gear, all of that stuff. We're getting ready to blast some stuff out from there. Y'all give a shout out to Brother Yosef, everyone in the chat. And if you have not subscribed to his channel, subscribe to this one. If you're new here, set those alerts so that when we're upload next week. I was going to do it until he was telling me about the weather, and someone else mentioned it too. And I was like, oh my God, it's crazy. So make sure y'all like the show. If you got any comments, you put it in the video afterwards, and then I'll make sure that I give a couple of you. So we'll do that at each new show. We'll start kind of just airing some of the comments, and it could be some bad ones. And, of course, we just do what we need to do. Any last thing you want to say to anyone, brother?
No, I just want to thank everybody I want to thank you, first of all, brother, for having me on again tonight. I really enjoyed myself. I enjoyed the conversation. I enjoyed the questions. You guys have some good questions. Thank you guys for coming on, watching. Once again, my channel is New Life Tools. You guys can check me out on there. And if you want to email me, newlifetools@gmail.com. That's NULYFE tools@gmail.com. Thank you guys.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Appreciate you. And like I said, if you hadn't had an opportunity, Monday, the new shirts and stuff will be up. They all kind of got the, that's one, and they'll have the little seal on the right side there. But anyway, so that's the unbounced there. Sure. All of these are what I call our new rebellious term to authority. Different colors will be available. If you're stubborn, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with being stubborn these days. You still got the protection seal right here. All of it be on the new website. This one is going out because I got to do a lot of new stuff to put the colors and stuff. This is one. And of course, it's got the protection in the eye of the wake, and then it'll have the seal there as well. And then last but not least, it'll be colors. Definitely. I know some of you are aware of this, disobey. Then, of course, they'll still have the side seals. All of that will be available once the site goes up. I'm sending the hats will be on there now. People have been asking. I haven't put them up. That one's going out to our first person with the black shirt and all that stuff. So, again, I appreciate each one of you being here. Support the show. Again, if you find it in your heart that you found value tonight and you want to cash out, you can do that as well. But either way, your goal is to be in here, and your time is the most important thing to do. If you are, my last message, if any of you thought leaders think it's time that you got a message you need to send out to the world, and you need access to the information that is not out there, and a lot of people, if you plan on investing into that future or becoming and getting out there, contact me, because we're building a circle. There is an investment. You need to buy this expensive hard drive for starters, waterproof, because this stuff you do not want. You can't do a cheap drive. If it crashes, you're going to lose the world. These are things that people have never